Hi, welcome back. Anybody have some really fantastic in your house spring break stories?
Nah,
Nobody.
I mean,
All right. Well, so I have a few announcements. My first announcement is anytime I show you guys the clip from the movie for A Midsummer Night's Dream, I have to stop recording because I can't post that on YouTube. They took down the video I did Thursday, the last day before break. So I have to go in and I have to edit it because I was violating copyright. And not intentionally. I didn't think it would do it because it was only like a couple minutes, but it did. And so I can't post that part. So anytime we're watching the video and I'm talking about it, that's not going to be in the recording. So if you miss class, you're going to miss that part of things. So just be aware of that. Sometimes I understand that like it's unavoidable. This whole situation's weird, which is why I record it, but just be aware that that could happen. Okay, other announcements. So Madam Corbin posted a couple of things. She's going to do daily announcements. So if you want to check those out, you can go to this link that she put up.
geez, the cringe, man. Ugh.
Also, she is inviting you to Zoom lunch with her on Fridays at 12:30. And so this is the information. It's not required, but like if you want to hang out and chat, she is making that time available. I think she misses everybody and she just wants to see your faces. Okay, so I explained this that I can't post the video. So that's what that says. So this week, you've got 2 new iReady assignments, and I'm beginning to understand from some feedback that these are taking significantly longer than it says. So if it says like 20 minutes, it's taking you guys a lot longer than 20 minutes. So I'm going to check back in with you on Wednesday and see if maybe 2 a week is too much and we only need 1 a week. These are due Monday, so you have a full 7 days to do them. So perhaps next week we'll change things around a little bit. I also posted a new assignment, Vocabulary Act 1. And if you go to the instructions, it says that this is not required and it will not be graded. But it would not be a bad idea to go on and practice some of these. So I'm not going to do a vocabulary quiz. I'm not grading this in any way. It's a resource for you guys to utilize if you so choose. I put a couple more things today. We're going to go over characterization. You've seen these notes before when we were doing something. I don't know, but you'll see them again. And then we're going to do some practice with thank you, ma'am, before we use our characterization. Oh, I think we did these with Hunger Games. Before we do, oh goodness, characterization with A Midsummer Night's Dream. So that's today's plan, is to do these things.
I got a question.
Yeah.
The governor said things are opening back on May 1st. Please tell me school is opening up again.
Currently, okay, so.
Yo, what you want? I'm in class, man.
You like, I don't want to do this class. I don't want to do online class. It's weird.
So the governor is hoping to selectively open certain things back up on May 1st with a lot of restrictions. Like, I'm guessing you're going to be required to wear a mask in public. So that's going to be a thing. I know right now it still says that schools are closed through the end of April. My guess is that that's going to be extended and we will not be back the rest of the year.
Okay. Not exactly the response I was looking for.
I know. Me neither. This is a weird, weird way to do things.
We need a 7th grade gathering, guys.
Yeah,
you say?
maybe we can socially distance in a park. Like bring folding chairs, like camping chairs, and set them like 6 feet apart in a circle.
Yes.
Ugh.
We can
Well,
tell all of them.
you know what? We'll just figure it out when we get there. There's a lot of people not getting their end of the year stuff. I mean, like if kids graduating from college and high school, they're getting nothing. So it sucks for
Yeah, we're getting nothing too. We ain't get that cake.
you did not. You know what? It's okay. I mean, the cake is okay. It's like meh. It's not like the best cake of all time. But you did get chipped. Okay. So on to characterization. So this is just notes. So I'm just going to open those up. Do these look familiar, or did I use these as 6th grade and I'm thinking I used them with you?
It looks like 6th grade. I haven't seen it.
Okay, so I'm thinking of 6th grade. Okay, so characterization, which we've done. We did this with Katniss in the Hunger Games. It's the process of revealing the personality of a character. It can be indirect or direct. For indirect characterization, the information in the text helps us to understand what the character is like. So there was a lot of that with Katniss where it would say something like when she shoved Peeta against the wall, it didn't say like Katniss is ruthless. It just talked about her shoving Peeta, and from that we decided that she was ruthless. So just as a reminder, the author uses things like speech, appearance, actions, their private thoughts, and how other characters react to them to do indirect characterization. Direct characterization then is, I have to sneeze. Dude, these allergies.
Bless you.
Thank you. Direct characterization is when the author is very specific about that character. So like Katniss is kind. If they said those specific things, then that's direct characterization. So here are a couple of examples. Bob was a selfish boy and quite a bully. What?
Didn't we do a paper on with we have
We
to
did.
choose if it's indirect?
Yes,
Yep.
we did. So the author provides the reader with selfish and bully. To describe Bob, the reader doesn't get a chance to see what he did to earn these titles of selfish and a bully. So that makes it direct characterization. The author is telling us very specifically what he's like. Even though Bob already had one cookie, he stole 5 more from the other boys in his class.
Gee, you suck.
This doesn't say that he's selfish and a bully, but it implies it, and that we can take from that like he's not a nice person because of the way he's described in his actions. And so then we come up with an opinion. Maybe if you yourself were a selfish bully, you would be like, that's like normal. So it's kind of up to the reader to infer that information. This is, I don't know if we did this last year. I feel like we did. There's 4 different types of character. Well, there's 2 sets of different types of character. Your character can either be static or dynamic. So that's one way to like define them. And another is flat or round. So they could be static and flat, or static and round, or dynamic and flat, or dynamic and round. So a static character doesn't go through much change in the story. A static character in Hunger Games would be like Gale. He pretty much is what he is the whole time. He really doesn't change. Ariel, yes. Indirect is when you have to use information in the text and infer something. Exactly. So none of this is like good or bad, but this is just an example. So there's no development of the character from beginning to end. They're just who they are the whole book. Like President Snow, he's the same. A dynamic character changes because of the story's events. So I would say I don't know. Do you think Katniss changed?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe in her feelings towards PETA, but honestly, she might be considered static too because she was pretty ruthless and blunt in the beginning, and she's ruthless and blunt in the end. That's a questionable one. A really good example is like Harry Potter. He is always growing and changing through the course of a story. Trying to think. What was the kid in Crossover's name?
Josh, JB.
Yeah, Josh. He changed through the course of the novel. So that's an example. A flat character has only one or two character traits. They're very, very basic. So most villains are pretty flat characters. Gale, I would say, was a pretty flat character. He loved his family and people he cared about, and he was going to do everything he could to take care of them and make sure they had everything they needed, even if it meant sacrifice himself. And then a round character has many different character traits. Like Katniss is a very round character. She had a lot of different character traits that we highlighted. Does that kind of make sense? I hope you are all nodding your heads.
Yes.
What?
Would Prim be a flat?
Prim would be flat. She's got a couple character traits, but she doesn't have a lot of depth, which is fine. Like none of these are saying like you have to be, dynamic and round to make a good character. Not necessarily, because like we've just pointed out, we think Katniss is pretty static. She is who she is throughout the whole book. There's not a whole lot of change in her personality. Okay, so we are going to take that information and we are going to apply it to this story called Thank You, Ma'am. So we have a couple of options. This is not a very long story. I think it's like, with the formatting, it's a little over 4 pages. But really, it's only like 3. They just formatted it weird. So 2 ways we could do this. We could read it together, and we could go through some of the questions on here. This is just repeating the notes that I just showed you. And then down here is where we're going to talk about indirect versus like examples of indirect characterization and of the different characters. So, what would you guys like to do?
Number 2, do it together.
Do some of it together.
Do it together.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. Does somebody want to start reading?
Okay.
Sure, I'll read.
Okay. Can you see this or do I need to make it bigger?
Thank You, Ma'am by Langston. Langston
Hughes.
Hughes. She was a large woman with a large purse that had everything in. Can't exactly see that part.
What?
Can you like scroll over to the side?
What?
That everything. No, I can't see the whole thing since you zoomed in.
Oh.
Okay.
Too small or make it bigger?
Good.
Okay.
That had everything in it but hammer
Yep.
and nails.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're making a comment on like she had this big purse, whoever she is, that has everything but a hammer and nails.
Okay. It had a long strap and she carried it slung across her shoulders. It was about 11 o'clock at night, and she was walking along when a boy ran up behind her and tried to snatch her purse. The strap broke with the single tug. The boy. Okay, where am I? The boy gave it from behind, but the boy's weight and the weight of the purse combined caused him to lose his balance. So instead of taking off full blast as he had hoped, the boy fell on his back on the sidewalk and his legs flew off. What the? What you mean leg flew up? Okay. Okay. The large woman simply turned around and kicked him right square in his blue jeans. Sitter? Oh.
Yeah, his butt.
Ooh, okay. Then she reached down, picked the boy up by his shirt front, and shook him until his teeth rattled. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, next.
Okay. After the woman.
Yeah, we can have somebody else read, Brian.
Okay. Okay. Let's go look at this thing.
Who's reading?
Me.
Okay.
Right. After that, the woman said, "Pick up my pocketbook. Give it here." She still held him, but she bent down enough to permit him to stop, stoop, and pick up her purse. Then she said, "Now, ain't you ashamed of yourself?" You want to keep on going?
Sure.
Firmly gripped by his shirt front, the boy said, "Yes'm, yes." Mm-hmm.
Yes'm.
The woman said, "What did you want to do?" What did you want to do it for? The boy said, "I didn't aim to." She said, "You a lie." By that, if someone else wanted to read, they can.
Does anyone else want to read?
When I'm in LA, paddle to the flower.
Don't all volunteer at once.
I can keep on going.
Yeah, keep going, and then I can do some.
By that time, 2 or 3 people stopped, turned to look and
This is such a bad idea.
if I turned you loose, will you run? What does that mean?
What?
Oh, will I let go? I was asking, what is if I turn you loose, will you run? Does that mean like
Yeah.
if I let you go?
Yeah,
Like she's holding
because
on to me?
remember, like, so he ran up behind her and grabbed her bag, and the strap broke. But then the force and the weight of the purse, like, he wasn't expecting it, so he ended up falling over, and she grabbed him by his shirt. And so she's holding on to his shirt.
Okay. Uh, yes, said the boy. Then I won't. Hold on. Then I won't turn you loose, said the woman. She did not release him.
Come on, man. That was not the strategy. You should have been like, no, so I should let you go.
Anyone else want to read, or I can take over? Okay. I'm very sorry, lady. I'm sorry, whispered the boy. Mm-hmm. And your face is dirty. I got a great mind to wash your face for you. Yeah, ain't you got nobody home to tell you to wash your face? No, said the boy. Then it will get washed this evening, said the large woman, starting up the street, dragging the frightened boy behind her. He looked as if he were 14 or 15, frail and willow wild in tennis shoes and blue jeans. The woman said, You ought to be my son. I would teach you right from wrong. Least I can do right now is to wash your face. Are you hungry? No, said the being dragged boy. I just want you to turn me loose. Was I bothering you when I turned that corner? Asked the woman. No. But you put yourself in contact with me, said the woman. If you think that contact is not going to last a while, you got another thing coming. When I get through with you, sir, you are going to remember Mrs. Lulabelle Bates Washington Jones. Sweat popped out on the boy's face and he began to struggle. Mrs. Jones stopped, jerked him around in front of her, put a half Nelson about his neck, and continued to drag him up the street. When she got to her door, she dragged the boy inside, down a hall, and into a large kitchenette furnished room at the rear of the house. She switched on the light and left the door open. The boy could hear other roomers laughing and talking in the large house. Some of their doors were open too, so he knew he and the woman were not alone. The woman still had him by the neck in the middle of the room. She said, What's your name? Roger, answered the boy. Then, Roger, you go to that sink and wash your face, said the woman, whereupon she turned him loose at last. Roger looked at the door, looked at the woman, looked at the door, and went to the sink. Let the water run till it gets warm, she said. Here's a clean towel. You going to take me to jail? Asked the boy, bending over the sink. Not with that face. I would not take you nowhere, said the woman. Here I am trying to get home to cook me a bite and to eat. You snatch up my pocketbook. Maybe you ain't been to supper either, late as it be. Have you? There's nobody home at my house, said the boy. Then we'll eat, said the woman. I believe you're hungry or being hungry to try and snatch my pocketbook. I just wanted a pair of blue suede shoes, said the boy. Well, you didn't have to snatch my pocketbook to get some suede shoes, said Mrs. Lula Bates Washington Jones. You could have asked me. Ma'am? The water dripping from his face, the boy looked at her. There was a long pause, a very long pause. And after he had dried his face and not knowing what else to do, dried it again, the boy turned around, wondering what next. The door was open. He could make a dash for it down the hall. He could run. The woman was sitting on the daybed. After a while, she said, I were young once, and I wanted things I could not get. There was another long pause. The boy's mouth opened. Then he frowned, but not knowing he frowned. The woman said, You thought I was going to say but, didn't you? You thought I was going to say, but I didn't snatch people's pocketbooks. Well, I wasn't going to say that. Pause. Silence. I have done things too, which I would not tell you, son, neither tell God if he didn't already know. So you sit down while I fix us something to eat. Might run a comb through thy hair so you will look presentable. In another corner of the room behind a screen was a glass plate and an icebox. Mrs. Jones got up and went behind the screen. The woman did not watch the boy to see if he was going to run, nor did she watch her purse when she left behind her, which she left behind her on the daybed. The boy took care to sit on the far side of the room where he thought she could easily see him out of the corner of her eye, if she wanted to. He did not trust the woman not to trust him, and he did not want to be mistrusted now. Do you need somebody to go to the store? Asked the boy. Maybe get some milk or something? Don't believe I do, said the woman. Unless you just want sweet milk yourself. I was going to make cocoa out of this canned milk I got here. That will be fine, said the boy. She heated some lima beans and ham she had in the icebox, made the cocoa, and set the table. The woman did not ask the boy anything about where he lived or his folks or anything else that would embarrass him. Instead, as they ate, she told him about her job in a hotel beauty shop that stayed open late, what the work was like, and how all kinds of women came in, blondes, redheads, and Spanish. Then she cut him a half of her 10-cent cake. Eat some more, son, she said. When they were finished eating, she got up and said, now here, take this $10 and buy yourself some blue suede shoes. And next time, do not make the mistake of latching onto my pocketbook nor nobody else's, because shoes come by devilish like that will burn your feet. I got to get my rest now, but I wish you would behave yourself, son, from here on in. She led him down the hall to the front door and opened it. Good night. Behave yourself, boy, she said, looking out into the street. The boy wanted to say something else other than thank you, ma'am, to Mrs. Lula Bates Washington Jones, but he couldn't do so as he turned up the barren stoop and looked back at the large woman in the door. He barely managed to say thank you before she shut the door and never saw her again. Okay. So let's look at Miss Lula Bates Washington Jones and come up with two types of characterization that we could use to describe her. Anybody?
She basically stayed the same through the whole story.
She did say the same, but like what state? Like, give me an example. Remember how we said Katniss was like ruthless and
Her personality trait.
yes, a personality trait. Don't y'all talk at once. Uh-oh, guys. Want to hear a news update?
Sure.
What?
Oh my God. All right, so this is from the
Corona's over.
We're not going to school.
This is breaking news.
Okay. All right, let's hear it.
Guys, Corona's
Ohio
over.
schools will be closed for the remainder of the academic year.
Yes.
No call has been made on reopening schools in the fall.
Wait, what did it say?
No call has been made on reopening schools in the fall.
Ooh, I want to go. I want
About
to
the
see.
risk for teachers, students, and our communities, the governor said, adding it was best with only weeks left in the school year to continue remote learning. Children can also serve as virus carriers, he said. Teachers have done
I
an
mean,
amazing job with distance education, DeWine said. Everybody stepped up to bring the best education they can to our kids under unusual and difficult circumstances.
it's kind of hard with everybody using Wi-Fi. Everybody and all the teachers and students breaking up. It's
Yeah,
not that easy as it sounds, as they make it sound.
it's not. Yeah, but we're already up to 12,000 cases, and like just Saturday, I think we had 10,000. And we're at 12,919. This is his whole plan to open up May 1st. I don't know, you guys.
Have they at least like found a base for like a cure?
No, see, that's the thing. Like scientifically, the way okay, this is complete tangent from our lesson.
Well, I
but
was
you know what?
listening to
Whatever.
stuff, and they say for the corona, it's basically cold like flu. I mean, cold like symptoms. So basically, you can just treat it like as if you had a cold.
Nah, deadly cold.
Definitely.
Okay, so hold on. Let me back this up. The symptoms of coronavirus start with a fever and a cough. The problem is that if you already have like weakened lungs or not, it can go very drastically from like I have a bit of a stuffy nose and I have a low grade fever and a bit of a cough to like people are just not waking up in the morning. It gets really bad really fast. And so that's part of it. The other part is because this is a new like a brand new virus, things like the cold and the flu are also viruses, but they've been around for generations. And so we're all born with antibodies in our system that will help us fight these viruses that have been around for like decades. This is a brand new virus, so our bodies have no way of knowing what to do to attack it. So our bodies get really confused, and it's not, even though the symptoms can be similar to cold and flu, the virus itself is nowhere near cold and flu, and so our bodies don't have the defense mechanisms built in to fight it. And so in order to get those antibodies, you need a vaccine. So if we had a vaccine, they would inject us with a dead form of the virus. It would help our system build up antibodies. It's just like getting the flu vaccine every year, or like the polio or meningitis or any vaccine. But in order to create a vaccine, you need like 18 months because you have to find the vaccine, what's going to work, then you have to test it, then you have to try again, and you have to test that, and you have to do lots of trials. So the odds of us having a vaccine before like fall 2021,
-0%.
yeah, it's not going to happen. Like minimum amount of time is a year and a half to make a vaccine.
Just delete the whole year. We can reboot it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I hope this doesn't offend
2020 was
anybody.
about to be the best year ever.
Supposed to.
2021 is supposed to be my year.
Yeah, you might want to make it 2022.
You
That's the thing.
never
Like
know.
this is not, I don't know how they're going to open things up when nobody has immunity to it, because not only is it brand new, nobody, even people that have gotten it are getting it again because it's mutating. So it started with like, let's say form A, and then it mutated, and now there's a B and then a C and then a D, and it keeps changing really quickly. And so there are some people that get a mild case, and that might be like strain A, I don't know what they call it. And then the people that are dying might have a totally different strain.
Did you see that lady who was 99 years? Well, she was in her 90s and she got cured for the corona. But she was very, very lucky though.
If they keep on mutating, shouldn't it be like getting stronger? So it'll just be easier for
Potentially.
people.
But like, think of the flu. The flu virus has a ton of strains of flu. That's why every year you have to get a new flu vaccine because it's treating different strains than the year before. But you can still get the flu if you get infected with a strain that's not in the vaccine.
Just take your vitamin, guys.
No, wear face masks and don't touch people. Disinfect everything. They're even finding out now that dogs and cats can carry it on their fur. And it can come in on like it can get stuck on your shoes and your clothing. So like anytime you go out and are around other people that aren't in your immediate household, you need to like take off your shoes, don't walk around the house in them, put your clothes right in the washer, go wash your hands.
That's a lot of water.
Yep.
Just for one pair of clothes.
Well, you don't have to wash them right away. Just put them in
Don't
there.
immediately wash them.
It's a mess, guys.
If I find a way to time travel, who wants to go back with me?
Gee, I'm going all the way back to ancient Greek, man. You ain't gonna find me nowhere.
It's
Brian, that's gonna be
poop in the
worse.
streets.
it's find a way to time travel. Okay.
If
I'm
I
going
find a
back
way
to
to time
relive my
travel,
whole
I'm
life.
going back to spring 2018. I'm gonna be like, here's what you need to do.
On back.
It's like
I'm
back.
gonna go
to,
back
like,
so that I
it
can
could be like,
remember everything
hey,
and be the smartest child in the
these
world,
dudes stop
cure
eating these
Corona,
images.
and then be rich.
I'm gonna go back
Going
and
back to
invest
whatever
in Zoom.
I hope robots don't take over though.
Oh my god, we are digressing, you guys. Okay, let's do one row of this thing.
Ooh,
Okay?
Bailey, that sucks. So bad.
Okay. What? All right, so tell me something about Luella. What kind of person is she?
She's a
Strong, muscular. Is that a word? Muscly.
masculine.
Well, she's maybe, I guess, she drug him down the street.
And she can be strict.
And she kidnapped him.
Could we say like strong-willed?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean by that?
No.
She's not going to take anybody's crap. She's got a mind of her own and she's going to speak it.
Okay.
Did we type anything yet?
No, but we're about to.
I
Because I didn't type anything. You said just type something?
I said she
What do
was
we type?
strong-willed.
Where are we writing this?
In the assignment called characterization practice worksheet. Thank you, ma'am.
I know, like where though? Like there's the indirect,
The
there's
what
the types
Then
of
about the
characters.
It says write it.
Do you see my? Am I sharing my screen?
Yes.
we
Do you see where?
Oh, I can zoom in. Okay, I saw it.
you
Oh, wait,
see where I
what
put it?
happened? Well, okay. Okay, I'm gonna type that now.
Okay, let's find a quote that shows us that she's strong-willed. She's just a person of her own mind.
I spelled strong wrong. Wait, how do you spell willed? Is
Will.
it just will and then I-E-D?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Ready? Give me an example of her being strong-willed, like not taking anybody's nonsense.
she was like, if I let you go, don't run. So I'm like, night, you staying with me.
Yes, exactly. So let's write that. We don't have to do it directly. We could say she asked
Wait, you can copy and paste.
if you could. He would run if she let him go. And he said yes. She kept hold of him. The other thing, she was like, your face is dirty. Come on. We're going to clean your face.
Hey, don't move, don't move. Wait. What? Who was making that sound?
Marshawn. Marshawn likes to make weird sounds. It's fine.
What are you talking about? I was muted, dude.
I was muted. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. You know, 15% of Ohioans have lost their jobs.
Lost
Well,
their what?
of the workforce, I guess.
Dang.
It's a lot.
Wow.
Almost 1 million people. Oof.
1 million people, dang.
In just our state. Okay. What does this tell us about our character?
She's strong-willed.
Really, Ariel?
She around.
I'm just stating facts, okay?
You don't
He
take.
is a no. Go ahead, Marshawn.
Nah, you already typed it.
No, I fixed it.
She doesn't deal with nonsense people or kids. She don't take disrespect. Period. None of that. Alright, nobody have that. If I'm back to the
Do you guys have somebody in your life that is like Luella?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. My grandma.
Your grandma?
Mm-hmm. She like, you eating this mashed potato.
Mashed potatoes are good, though.
Hashtag, I just don't like them. She like, you eating them or you eating them. So am I right or am I right?
You're gonna eat them or you're gonna eat them. So
It's like, which one you want to choose?
how about you get on with eating them? Hi, Charlie.
I'd be like, I'm not hungry. She's like, you gonna eat them.
Gonna eat these mashed potatoes. Hmm? 35. Great. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, we good?
Let
Mm-hmm.
me see if I wrote
Mhm.
everything. Yeah.
Okay, so for homework, I want you
What?
to fill out the second row for Luella. That's it.
Second row.
Okay.
Second row.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Wait, can't we just put strong-willed again and then just
No.
put this in?
No,
No.
you need a different characterization.
Well, she didn't say that, Marshawn.
It's one other thing.
No, thank you.
What she just said that.
Any other questions, you guys?
Nope.